Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Episode number 424, Drink Until You Podcast, the only podcast that lasts until the last drop. How the hell is your Sunday going? How the hell was your week? Hope everybody's okay. I hope you're safe out there. I am drinking, I forgot last week, I actually cracked open the Lone Star I had left. And the reason I do that is because it always seems that I get on here, I start talking, and then I fumble with the tab to open the beer can. So I always kind of start it for myself. And only drinking one beer last week. The other one was left over, so I went to go grab it just now before the episode. And I was like, this thing's probably flat. Like, it's been sitting this way for a week. There's no way this is going to be good. So I changed it up a little bit today. I'm doing my White Claw pineapple flavor. And I was thinking, man, that's going to kind of suck. Like, it's just not enough one White Claw to rule them all, So I've done the White Claw. I've taken a shot of rum before I started this. And I have another little shot of rum. Well, I say little shot of rum. That almost looks like half a glass. That's insane. But that's 100 proof Sailor Jerry rum. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a different one. Bacardi. I can't remember now. I think it's Sailor Jerry. 100 proof rum. And that's what we're drinking on this episode. If you got them, drink them. Bottoms up. Cheers, everybody. You see how easy that was that I just popped that open just now? All right. We got a little bit to talk about, man. Some drama. Some podcast drama. I've been watching hockey all week, of course. I picked Grok's brain for some movies that I should watch. And it let me down very, very badly. Some UFC last night. NASCAR today. I mean, we're in the weeds. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much happening, so much going on. There's no way I can keep up with it. All the sports everywhere. It's just not possible. But we'll go ahead and start with the podcast drama, dude. For 8 years, I have put this episode out week after week. No issues. iTunes has always been like my savior, iTunes, if you can't find it anywhere else, the two places you can always find it is Podbean, my host, and YouTube, and iTunes. And it's been that way forever. I mean, Spotify has been hit or miss. Sometimes it takes an hour to upload the episode. Sometimes it takes a couple of hours. So the dilemma I ran into last week uploading episode 423 was just not fun, man. I was just stressed all Sunday. As you heard, if you listened to the last episode, I recorded that Saturday night, right? So I'm actually technically ahead of schedule at this point. I never record on Saturdays. Last Saturday, for whatever reason, I woke up early, I did my workout, I got through some of the day, watched some TV, and, sitting there a few hours into Saturday, I'm like, you know what, I might as well just do it now, which rarely ever happens, which I was proud of myself. I'm like, wow, I'm ahead of schedule for once. I'm not just on schedule, I'm ahead of schedule. So I'm sitting there after I do the episode, and I'm watching TV, I'm watching these Grok recommends that I'll get into later that didn't do me so good. But, so I'm sitting there watching TV, and, every so often I'm checking Spotify. Is it up on Spotify yet? Every so often I'm checking iTunes. Is it up on iTunes yet? And nothing, just crickets. So, like 3 hours passes, Sunday. Because Saturday night, like I said, I was cruising, I was watching TV. I'm like, yeah, I could post it tonight, but I'll just wait till tomorrow to, keep the normalcy going. No big deal. Everybody's used to me posting it on Sunday anyway. It's not a big deal. I'll just wait till Sunday. So Sunday rolls around. Of course, I'm watching my sports. I got pretty much a free day because I don't have to record a podcast all of a sudden. And I'm just loving it. So I upload the episode some hours into the day. And, I kind of go on about my day. I see it uploads partially on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, everything's looking good. That's a good sign. If it's going to upload on YouTube, if it's going to upload one place, it should be pretty much okay everywhere else. And just a word of advice, if you're a new podcaster, Spotify will only accept your file in the form of an MP3. So I went through this whole spiel with Podbean and this whole spiel with Spotify like a year and a half ago, where I was like, I'm producing episodes every week. What is the deal? Why is it not some episodes go to Spotify, other episodes don't? I don't get what's going on. So it turns out Spotify will only, they're very, very picky. They will only accept MP3 files. So that's what I had to start doing for every episode. I upload, every episode to my laptop. I convert it to MP3. I post it. For 8 years, I'm telling you guys, I've been good. This is the one time I wasn't good. So Sunday, I post the episode. I wait like 3 hours, and I'm like, okay, damn, what the hell? It's still not up on iTunes. It's still not up on Spotify. That's okay. It's going to be fine. Maybe it's just taking a little bit longer than usual today. No big deal. 5 hours rolls by and still nothing. And I'm like, I start to panic. I'm running out of Sunday night to actually get this uploaded to iTunes and to Spotify. Mind you, there is one version on Podbean and there is one version on YouTube that you can listen to immediately. If you're normally an iTunes listener, you can at least go over there and grab the episode, know that it came out. And so yeah, a few hours passes. Sunday, I'm getting worried. Give me 1 second. I gotta blow my nose. And I do realize, you guys, like I sniffle into the mic. Sometimes my allergies are just horrible, and I do apologize about that. I am trying to get better. That's what I'm just going to do. I'm just going to start pausing every time I get a little sniffle or I feel like I want to sniffle. I know it's an irritant. So anyways, Sunday night, about 5 hours has passed. The episode's still on Podbean, still on YouTube. I'm like, okay, it's a good file. I can tell that. And then, it's not on iTunes, it's not on Spotify. These are normally, dude, I've been doing this for 8 years. These are normally like my solid, this is how I know the episode is going everywhere it's supposed to, is mainly iTunes. You know what I mean? So anyways, I'm struggling, so I don't see anything posted, so I get the clever idea. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. That MP3 that I converted is probably bad. So what I'm going to do is redo the MP3, redo the conversion, and re-upload it. So that's what I do. Which turns out, doing more research, is actually going to delay my upload even more. Because now iTunes already has this version, and they're like, oh wait, that version's gone. And then here comes a new version. Now they have to check that version against other things to be sure this isn't a double upload, to be sure, whatever. I guess copyright comes into play somehow there. But, so yeah, I kind of screw myself. And then a few more hours goes by. And like I said, I'm running out of runway here. My Sunday night is dwindling down. I'm watching hockey. I'm tweeting about it. Like I'm watching NASCAR. I'm tweeting about it. I'm like doing my regular Sunday thing, except something's off. My episode isn't everywhere it's supposed to be. So anyway, to be absolutely frank with you guys, I deleted it and uploaded it 2 more times, thinking that was the fix. Because by this point, I'm in a panic, dude. It's been like 12 hours since I posted my episode, and it's still not on the places that it's gone to pretty immediately for 8 years. So I'm just like, what do I do? I'm researching. I'm reaching out to Podbean. I'm hitting up Grok. I'm like, any solution I can come up with to help this along would be great. So anyways, long story short, the solution was to literally go on to my episode. What was the last episode named? Episode 423, Easy Day, Get Out of Jail Free, and Upcoming UFC. Okay, that was the title of it. So basically, what I had to do to correct the problem to like kind of spur iTunes and Spotify along was the original title read Easy Days, Get Out of Jail Free, and Upcoming UFC. So I literally just took off the S in days, and that was enough And this is like Wednesday, by the way, that I figured all this out. I gone through Monday in a panic. I gone through Tuesday in a panic. I posted on my social media accounts. I'm like, hey, iTunes and Spotify are being a bitch. Like if you need the episode immediately, it's on YouTube, it's on Podbean. Here's the links. So because there's kind of, to me, there's a lot at stake here. I have not missed a release in 8 years. I mean, every week for 8 years, I have been here and released an episode. Like rain, shine, sleet, snow, COVID, sickness, child being born. I mean, through all of it, dude. I've just, been consistent, the most consistent with this. That was my literally only goal when I started, was just to be consistent. Just put it out every week. Don't get too lazy to say, no, I don't want to this week. No, just do it anyway. Yes, the episode might suck, but do it anyway. It's not about it sucking or being good. It's just about doing it. Nothing can happen if this podcast doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, not to say nothing in the world will happen. I'm just saying nothing will happen with this podcast if it doesn't exist. It at least needs to exist. So, Monday rolls around, I'm still panicked. Tuesday rolls around, I'm researching, I'm still panicked. I'm like, what the fuck? So that was the solution. Just in case you're running into that same issue, that's the solution. Just change the title by like a letter. They even said I could go back and add it back in later if it's that crude. I don't care. It can say easy day. I don't care. That's fine as long as it goes up. But with all of that said, and here's where I'm about to take my shot and take another drink. With all of that said, from time to time, I'll give out a verbal Golden Mug Award. And that Golden Mug Award is basically to anyone who's, done anything of excellence, who's gone above and beyond, not even anything to do with this podcast. Anyone in society, let's say, I don't know why my mind always goes here, but it does. The mom who lifts the car off of her son so it doesn't crush her. Normally, she shouldn't be able to do that. And she wouldn't be able to do that under normal circumstances. But the adrenaline in her body is like, oh my God, if I don't do this, my child is going to be in real danger. And they somehow, some way lift enough of a car for their child. You know what I mean? Like, those are things of excellence. That's what I give out Golden Mug Awards for. So I do have one to give out this week. I've actually kind of started digging into how to make these physical trophies that I can send to people, which would be kind of funny. But this week's Golden Mug Award goes out to my friend James. You've heard his name over the years. Guitar player for Cashing In. Just like a guru when it comes to advertising and marketing, you know what I mean? Like, he's just a wizard. I mean, like, it looks like magic to me, the things he knows how to do. You know what I mean? Like, web design, all that shit, that is so above my head. Like, sure, I could dig into it and learn, but do I want to give myself the headache, or do I want to ask James? You know what I mean? Like, I think I'd rather ask James. He's gonna streamline the process and not me having to learn it so I can implement it. So anyways, James gets the Golden Mug Award for Drink Until You Podcast, the Drink Until You Podcast Golden Mug Award for his excellence, dude. Basically, with this whole scenario that I described, my episode not going up on iTunes, my episode not going up on Spotify as it has for so long, my only saving grace, aside from my host site, was YouTube. In this particular circumstance, my saving grace was YouTube. And the only reason my episodes were on YouTube in the first place was literally because James a couple of months ago was like pushing me to do it. He's like, man, you really got to get these episodes up on YouTube. And of course I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. But it wasn't pressing to me. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, it'll happen when it's time to happen. And, I got other things to work on and I can't really focus on this right now. But eventually, we'll get it up there. So he's the one that kept emailing me he's the one who kept texting me like, hey, here's the next step to do. Here's the next thing you need to do. Oh, okay, we have to wait 24 hours now, for them to approve and see that your podcast is legit and your page is legit. Like he went through the whole process with me. And that's why he gets the Golden Mug Award this week, is because if it hadn't been for him, the only place he would have been able to find my episode in 8 years that I've never had an issue before would be Podbean, my host, and YouTube. And James was that saving grace. He was the one that pushed me to put it on YouTube. Even when it seemed pointless. You know what I mean? Like, I of course was going to do it, but I was just like, it's already in like a million other places. It's not a big deal if it goes onto YouTube or it doesn't, like it's still, but it turns out it absolutely was a big deal, because without that, I would have had only one place to reference to say, hey guys, I haven't missed a week. The episodes are on Podbean. That's the only place you can find them, but that wasn't the reality. The episodes were on Podbean and they were on YouTube. And I mean, who doesn't listen to YouTube? So, with all of that said, shout out to my friend James. Shout out to my friend Jams. That's his nickname. Righteous Jams, if you want to be specific. But shout out to him because he was really the saving grace, and he didn't even know. Like a couple of months ago, pushing me to do this. I really do appreciate it. It was literally my saving grace where the episode was still out, while the others, where I was figuring out how to get the other episodes out on the other platforms. So anyways, this drink is for you, James. I'm going to take a drink of my White Claw after I take my my rum shot here. So if you got them, drink them. Bottoms up. Cheers, everybody. Oh, man. Yeah, that's pretty harsh. This week, when I upload this episode, we'll see what kind of adventure I go through. I know the trick now, so, when I title this episode, I'll know to, if it doesn't come out immediately, just go on to Podbean, my host, delete a letter, add it back later if you need to. That'll just kind of spur it along to be like, oh, there is something that needs to be uploaded. Okay, here it comes. So anyways, enough about that whole debacle. That was just a fucking nightmare, you guys. Moving on to the UFC event last night. Let's see. Holloway versus Oliveira. Oliveira wins that 5-round decision. He just smothered Max, the entire fight. So hard to argue with that. It's not like, Max got KO'd or anything. He was just controlled the whole time. And, that's kind of unfortunate, unless you're looking for that grappling style MMA. That's kind of unfortunate for the fans to witness that. And, we want to see them stand on their feet and throw. But I understand Oliveira. That's not necessarily his style. He wants to get you to the ground. He wants to control you. And he did just that, and there's not shit Max could do about it, So that was a pretty good fight. The fight nerds back on top again. I'm going to butcher his name. Borrallo. That wasn't bad. Borrallo versus De Ritter. Borrallo gets a victory coming off of a loss. I know that feels good for him. He looked pretty good. He looked, what is always a telltale sign to me is I saw Borrallo fight, when he lost last time. And then this time, when they're telling the story about him and building up the the co-main event fight, all this and that, when you see him in pictures, he is just ripped. Like you've never seen him, but he's extremely ripped. Where before he was pretty ripped, but in this fight, it was he was just, you could see every fiber in his chest with a slight move of his hand. You know what I mean? You could just tell that guy dedicated some time to the gym. And when I see things like that, I'm like, oh shit, like he means business. He's upset about his last loss. And he's ready to come out. And, you know, I can't say he dominated. He won a decision, but he was the most prepared for his fight. It looked like to me. You know, and those telltale signs, like I said, are just them spending that extra time in the gym to where when they move their hand, you can see the ripple in their chest. It's like, oh, this dude's been going hard. Like, I get it. You know, you can kind of almost see it before the fight even starts. So anyways, he comes out on top in that one. The Chihuahuas guy, Rosas Jr. versus Font. Rosas wins that one in a decision. Great set of fights. I caught as many as I could. It was a fun event. What else? NASCAR is on today. I'm excited for this race, man. Bell's got to get some points here, man. Bell's got to be up at the top. I mean, I would assume most of the race. For any stage of the race, he's just going to have to be 1 through 5. I mean, he's got some points to make up by this, by this race. So I do kind of expect big things out of him today. I expect him to be a little more aggressive than he normally is, rightfully so, just trying to reclaim those points or make up the ground. So look for that, and when he's aggressive, it feels like it's not detrimental to everybody else. When he's aggressive, it's just only about, like, he's either going to get there or he's not, and he's going to wreck himself out. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's trying to take other cars with him, even though, boy, I talked about this last week and it really made me laugh. The week prior, Hocevar wrecked out Christopher Bell. I mean, just ran him right into the fucking wall, man. Like, it was ridiculous. But anyways, after the race, they're interviewing Hocevar. He's like, yeah, I probably owe some people some apologies. And then he basically, like, counts himself out for the next race because it's a road course, which is, the opposite of an oval track. An oval track, you're just going in the oval. The road course, you're slowing down to go around a curve. You're speeding up on the straightaway and then slowing down to go around that. Like, it's a different style of driving than just full force, pedal to the metal driving. So anyways, he basically tells the interview person, like, you don't even have to worry about me next week at the road course, which kind of had me laughing. And then to see him wreck out at the back of the pack by him, like, he ran himself into the wall and on that road course that he pretty much gave up on. I mean, nobody was around him. Nobody was around him for him, like, when he wrecked, he couldn't take anybody out with him. He was literally just, like, at the back of the pack and wrecked somehow. And it had me fucking just crying laughing. Because, A, he already called it, and B, I mean, he called it really well. I didn't realize he was so bad at road courses. But, yeah, he fucking wrecked himself out. The last person I can think... The last person I can think who did that, God bless her, is the female driver that happened to, make it into the NASCAR, and she, into the race or whatever, and she did not do well. I mean, it was the same thing. She wrecked herself. Nobody touched her. Nobody was around her. The car just got away from her, and she wrecked it. The jokes there write themselves. Feel free, But Hocevar, the next week after saying that, I mean, literally just wrecked himself. It was awesome. It was great to see. So anyways, NASCAR is coming up today. Christopher Bell, we got to make some moves, man. We got to get some points going. I know he knows that. I know the team knows that. I think by this week it's Operation Don't Let Reddick Win from all the other drivers. Like, he's won 3 in a row, so... yeah, we need somebody else to take that for... Dude, if Reddick takes it again this week, they're clearly on to something. Michael Jordan and his 23XI Racing or whatever it is. Yeah, dude. If they win it again, I think other teams need to be worried because they figured something out. They're doing something to win three in a row. If they make it four in a row, I mean, it's gonna get ridiculous. So, anyways, let's go ahead and have another drink. If you got them drinking, bottoms up. Cheers, everybody. We'll move on to some hockey real quick. We'll close out with the horrible Grok recommendations for movies. But yeah, last night, let's see, Mammoth beat Columbus Blue Jackets in OT. That was a fun game, man. Marchment for Columbus is, he was a former Dallas Star. He's fun to watch. He would not ever be the top player on my Dallas Stars team just because we do have so much talent. But coming from that place, coming from the Dallas Stars team, it's like I don't know, I like to think that he learned how to raise his level of play. And now being in Columbus, it's like he's one of the go-to guys, you know what I mean? He's a guy that other guys look up to, when answers are needed. He's kind of got the experience. He's come from the team that's got a lot of skill. He's working on his skill. So it just seems like he's becoming more of a leader on that team. Obviously, Rick Bowness behind the bench there. You guys know how I feel about old Ricky B. Let's see. Philadelphia beats Pittsburgh in the shootout last night. That was a back and forth. I really didn't think, like, in the first period, Philadelphia just looked dead in the water. I'm like, this isn't good. They were tied a lot of the game. I will say that, but you just always think like Pittsburgh's at this. Like they're not going to give it up to Philadelphia, but they actually do in the shootout. Pittsburgh gets a point. Philly gets two. Buffalo, my goodness, dude! If you're not watching Buffalo Sabres hockey, you're missing out, man. They're fun to watch, and not only are they fun to watch, they're winning. They have the no quit mentality down. It doesn't matter what the scoreboard says. It doesn't matter if you lost a player in the second period due to injury. None of that matters to them, and I love it. I'm here for it. Who is that? He wanted to say Pete DeBoer. That's not him. It's Lindy Ruff. It's the other bald guy. Or balding guy. That's not. I thought you liked Lindy Ruff, Chris. Why are you saying that about him? Well, it's true. That's why. Anyways, Lindy Ruff just working his magic up there, and I couldn't be more happy for him right now. I don't know if they're gonna win the cup. I don't know how deep in the playoffs they're gonna, but I'm happy for him right now, just for everything he's doing with that team. Sabres play today. Stars play today. There's some fun games on here. Avs beat my Stars in a shootout, 5-4. That was a game the Stars should have had. We couldn't hold on to. A former player coming back to tie at 4-4. Big Val. That's good to see for him, but not good to see for my Stars. And that crowd at AAC against Colorado, man, I was sitting at home just like so proud. You guys were so loud and so like rambunctious. Like you can feel the energy from the noise. You know what I mean? Like every little play gets a rise out of the crowd. It was just congratulations if you went to that game. And most people, if you keep going back to the Stars games and you keep helping that atmosphere be a thing, I want to applaud you too. You know what I mean? Like that's fun, man. Like we have one of the funnest buildings in the NHL, I feel like, personally. The rap about all the Jalens in the NBA. I fucking loved it, dude. That guy nailed it. And they actually put it on the radio the next morning and were talking about it. And the guy recorded a video of him sitting there listening to it, kind of, laughing along or whatever. But, yeah, unpopular opinion. I think we need more Jalens in the NBA. Like 600 plus Jalen's in the NBA. I want to wake up one day and be like, oh my God, there's like 800 plus Jalen's in the NBA. You know what I mean? So anyway, Utah over Philly a few nights prior, 3-0. Buffalo over the Penguins, 5-1. That's an NHL final. Let's see. Oh my God, yeah. Houston-born, 6'8", 229-pound Myers from the where'd he come from? The Canucks? Yeah, dude. This is something I've been wanting. You know, I've been wanting more size for my stars. And I mean, this guy's massive. Tyler Myers, 6'8", 229 pounds. Like, the thing I've been bitching about of us not having a physical presence. I mean, that with him and Bischel, if they can both stay healthy, I think that we are in the sweet spot right now. I think we are in the sweet spot. Not all of our D-men are big bruisers, but we have two. Along with Jamie Benn, who's fairly tough. I'm trying to think of somebody else who's pretty tough too. I mean, you know, you got those grunt players like Steele and all those guys. They're not afraid to throw down. You know what I mean? So yeah, thank you. Finally, we need that, and I get it. He's going to come up against players that are faster than him technically, but I'm telling you, the size is going to make the difference. It's like, yeah, you can be fast, but I mean, a 6'8" guy uses a different stick than everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, he takes up more ice than everybody else. He's going to block more shots than everybody else. All of these are net positives for my team. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to crunch somebody against the boards and make them think about coming that way again. Yes, thank you, Jim Nill. We didn't have to get a Steven Stamkos. You know, we didn't have to get a top sniper like that in order to improve our team. And I think what Jim Nill did absolutely improves our team. And the price we got him for, like, this is just wizardry. I normally don't dig into the books because I really don't care. Like, that's up to the GM to figure out. But we're getting it for like $1.5 million, and Vancouver is paying the rest of his shit. It's like, bro, like, yes. So, now, you gotta know that I'm expecting a deep playoff run here. DeBoer or not, and obviously we don't have DeBoer, so Golitsyn's doing his thing, dude. I was skeptical, I'm not even gonna lie. When we went on that early season losing streak, and it's like we couldn't do anything right, nothing was going our way, it looked bleak, and I'm like, holy shit, we picked this guy over DeBoer? Like, this is nuts, man. But I will say, Golitsyn, man, he's held his own. He's come back, he hasn't given up. He's improved the team. He's coached them well. They look like a great team. I'm proud of him. I'm so fucking proud of him. So, anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and have another little sip. We'll finish this off. So basically, I watched two movies that Grok recommended to me, and I gave Grok a criteria. You know, like, I was like, this is the kind of movie I'm looking for. I love it for this reason, and that reason, and this reason, and that reason. And basically, what I was looking for, just to kind of break it down in the easiest terms possible, basically what I was looking for was like a movie that revolves around the 70s. Not shot in the 70s, you know, but it revolves around the 70s. Movies I'm thinking of: Dazed and Confused, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Boogie Nights. I think Catch Me If You Can was based in the 70s, I'm pretty sure, and I did watch that one the other night, which is just a great movie. I'm not upset about that. But this is basically the thing I'm looking for. You know, I want that 70s vibe. I want that, you know, I want to see what they're wearing. I want to see what their houses look like. I want to see, you know, what their parties look like. I want to see, you know, even the smallest detail, what their hair looks like. You know what I mean? But the reason I want to see it is it takes me back to a time that I never even existed in. You know what I mean? Like, that's the beautiful thing about a movie. It can take you to a time where you can go, oh, okay, that's kind of what it was like. You know what I mean? And that's literally what I'm looking for in a movie. So, the movies I watch, Catch Me If You Can, you know, I didn't need Grok to recommend that one to me. But Catch Me If You Can, that was a good one. Great performances in that one. The Last Picture Show, which was made in the 70s, but it's actually based in the 1950s, and it was okay. I would rewatch it maybe once just so I can get the full scope, but god damn, it was like 2 hours, man, and it's like the movie seemed like it. I'm like simultaneously watching the UFC event, and I have the Last Picture Show playing, you know, on another TV. So I'm kind of doing both. When UFC's on break, I'm paying attention more to the movie, and it did not hit any vibe that I wanted at all. It did not hit any notes. The only cool thing I could pull out of the movie was that you get to see a young Jeff Bridges. I mean, even me sitting there watching the movie, I was like, I know this guy. Like, I know this guy's face. Who is this? And, you know, the way he's saying words, the looks he's giving, I'm like, I know who this is. I can't put my finger on it. So I IMDb it, and sure enough, it's Jeff Bridges. I say it right before the page loads. I go, is this Jeff Bridges? Is that who it is? Dude, I've seen, what's the movie where he's the dude? The Big Lebowski. Dude, I've seen The Big Lebowski like 1,000,000 times. You know what I mean? So I definitely recognize his facial structure and his demeanor and everything like that. But yeah, sure enough, going and looking it up, it was a young Jeff Bridges. That was probably the coolest part of the movie for me. Basically what the movie is based around this Dallas, Texas town, and these teenagers, I guess, late in their high school career, about to move. I mean, just with that description, you can guess what the movie is about. It's like American Pie stripped down to like boring as hell. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if that offends anybody. I just did not enjoy the movie. So the next one I try to start watching, and this is kind of when I call Grok out. I'm like, hey man, what the fuck? You know, like, this isn't what I was asking for. I start watching The Sting with Paul Newman in it. And I actually do like this one. Like, so far, what I've seen so far, I actually do like the movie. But the thing Grok missed was this movie's based in the 30s. These are about a couple of con artists in the 30s, which I love that. And I know why it recommended that to me was for a movie like that I mentioned, American Hustle. When I'm looking for movies, you know, I said, I like things like American Hustle, Grok. And it's like, oh, you'll love... You know, like, without thinking about what I was really asking, you'll love The Sting. That's basically what this movie is about. They're a con artist and they're going... But I wasn't looking for anything based in the 1930s. So anyways, I go correct Grok today. I'm like, hey, man, what the fuck? Like, this isn't what I'm looking for. I watched the whole movie of The Last Picture Show, and I was, like, not impressed at all. It was a waste of, like, 2 hours, essentially, other than having the experience of watching the movie. Which, big whoop, right? I get to tell my friends, hey, I watched The Last Picture Show. They're like, what the fuck is that? What are you talking about? We've never heard of that in our life, and we'll never watch it in our life. You know what I mean? Like, so anyways, Grok kind of did me wrong there, but we're correcting the ship. We're righting the ship. You know, I've gone into more detail. I'm like, you know, basically told it the same thing. I was like, that's great, and I did like Catch Me If You Can, of course. That was a better recommendation from Grok. I did like The Sting. I like The Sting so far. The Last Picture Show just was not it. And, I mean, honestly, it was kind of shocking, The Last Picture Show, because the amount of tits you see in that movie is like something you wouldn't expect. You're seeing I mean, that's basically what the whole movie's about, is these guys keep getting into these cars and making out with women. And I guess, that was the thing back then, was for the women to pull their shirt down. so you could grab their boobs while you're making out, but that's as far as they're willing to go. You know what I mean? I don't know, it's interesting. But, yeah, if it hadn't been for a young Jeff Bridges, and if it hadn't been for boobs, I mean multiple sets of boobs, this would have got like the worst Rotten Tomatoes review. But those are its saving graces, I guess. Even though the movie was just dog shit. Like, to be honest, like, you know, those are just extras. It was cool to see, you know, Jeff Bridges as a younger actor, but that's just extra. That doesn't make the movie good. You know what I mean? So, anyways, yeah, Grok steered me wrong. We're gonna right this ship, though. We're gonna talk about it today and get me some movies that I haven't seen that are in that same era or made to be in that. I don't care if the movie was made in 2005, as long as it revolves around the 70s. You know, and one movie, oh my God, I just got to say this before I go. One movie I went back and watched to try to get that same vibe I'm talking about is Almost Famous. And I didn't like it. The second time I watched it, I did not like it. Like, it's long, it's drawn out, and everybody in the movie is just like, they're trying to make, and I'm sure there's some realism to the 70s that they're pointing out there, but I mean, every person in the movie is just too cool for school, and oh, hey, peace, and hey, I know everybody, and hey, what's up, oh, I haven't seen you, and like, I get what they're trying to portray. I get that they're trying to show that sense of community, that sense of, you know, having friends in your same age group, or, you know, maybe there's a couple. I get that they're trying, but everybody in the movie was just so cool. There was no, you know, cool in their own way. There was no, like, I don't know. At least with, like, Dazed and Confused, you had your different sects of people. You know, you had your nerds, you had your jocks, you had your... So, that, you know, that kind of defines the characters a little bit better. Not everybody's on the same playing field. It just seemed like in Almost Famous, you know, since we're all in this group of musicians, it's like we all know each other and we're all super cool and oh, don't even worry about it, and I don't know, I can't put my finger on why I didn't like it. It felt very contrived, you know, if I had to put a word to it. So anyways, there's a couple of movie reviews, I guess. That's gonna do it for me for this episode. I'm gonna finish off this White Claw. I already had my shot. Once again, James, the most deserving of that Golden Mug Award. I appreciate it. So if you got them, drink them. Bottoms up. Cheers, everybody. All right, that's it for me. I will talk to you all next week. Let's see what kind of trouble I go through uploading this episode. As always, don't drink and drive. Treat yourself to an Uber. Please treat yourself to a Lyft. Treat yourself to a DoorDash. Treat yourself to a Waymo if it's in your area. Just don't drink and drive. It's not worth it. I love you all. I will talk to you next week. Bye.